So, you mentioned the Korban Pesach. Mishchul, Kru. We're talking about the Chiyuv to make the Korban Pesach, yeah? So interesting, in this week's parasha, the Korban Pesach, Toisus Psachim Dav Gimel Amud Beis. If you don't own real estate in Eretz Yisrael, you're patur from Korban Pesach. Famous Toisus. And Andrew will come later. I'll bring him over right after Myra. Thank you very much. The Or Chadash and the Chidah explain that this ptur, if you don't own real estate in Eretz Yisrael, is based on the Gemara Pesachim Daf Ches Amud Beis. You're patur from Aliyah L'Regel. The Gemara says clearly you weren't Aliyah L'Regel to the Beis Hamikdash, or you were patur. You were allowed to go, but you didn't have to go. The Torah says, "V'lo yachmoid ish es artzecha ba'aloischa leirois es pnei Hashem elkecha shalish pam b'shana." The Torah promises you that no one will be envious of your land, want to steal your land. So from that we learn out you need a piece of land. So the mitzvah of Aliyah L'Regel is clearly for a person who owns land. A person without land is mutter to stay at home for the Aliyah L'Regel. So therefore the Or Chadash and the Chidah say, explain Toisus, if the Torah excused you for not being Aliyah L'Regel because you don't have a piece of land, you won't be in Yerushalayim for Pesach. So you're patur from Korban Pesach because you're not in Yerushalayim for Pesach. You don't have a chiyuv to be in Yerushalayim for Pesach, you don't. Shuvas Chsam Sofer asks a powerful question on Toisus. On this Toisus that says that a person without land is patur from Korban Pesach, the Gemara Shabbos Kuf Lamed Aleph says, according to the Shita of Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah there, the preparation for many mitzvahs could be done on Shabbos, even though you're doing malachas that are normally asur on Shabbos. A moil could sharpen his milah knife on Shabbos. A sukkah could be built on Shabbos, according to Rabbi Eliezer. Water can be heated in order to clean the baby for after the bris on Shabbos, according to Rabbi Eliezer. Shabbos Daf Kuf Lamed Aleph. And then the Gemara says that this heter of Rabbi Eliezer doesn't apply to all the mitzvahs. Which mitzvahs aren't included? The Gemara says Rabbi Eliezer wouldn't allow you for tzitzis and mezuzah. Attaching tzitzis to a beged that has arba kanfos and putting them as a mezuzah. Putting a mezuzah will be melacha boina, and making tzitzis will be tying kosher. So even though Rabbi Eliezer allows you certain things for other mitzvahs, he allows you to build a sukkah, he allows you to tie the arba minim on Shabbos. Rabbi Eliezer only permits these actions because the mitzvah, you can't, there's no other way. You can't, you have to do the mitzvah, and this is the only way. So if you're faced with a conflict between Shabbos and a mitzvah, Shabbos is pushed aside. But tzitzis and mezuzah, you don't have to. Your person can, even if he owns a beged of arba kanfos, he could say it's not his beged anymore, and also you could say the house is not yours, and you don't need to put up a mezuzah. So therefore, that's why he wouldn't be matir you to tie tzitzis and put up a mezuzah. The Mishnah Masechet Pesachim of Samach says that many aspects of the Korban Pesach, shechting, burning its fast, could be done on Shabbos, although it's usually also on Shabbos. A Korban Pesach has to be done in the exact time, the afternoon of Yudal Nisan, even if it falls on Shabbos. Therefore, he asks the question, since the Gemara on Shabbos explains that you could get rid of your ownership of your beged, you don't need to put tzitzis. You could get rid of your ownership of a building and avoid the mitzvah tzitzis and mezuzah. So he says, why not, if it's true what Toisus is saying, that if you don't own land in Eretz Yisrael, you shouldn't be able to do Korban Pesach on Shabbos because you could just get rid of your land. That's the shaila. Why can't we say the same thing about Korban Pesach? According to Toisus, a person that has to bring Korban Pesach on Shabbos, he should be able to, by renouncing his ownership in the land, he would be patur from bringing a Korban Pesach. So it should be like tzitzis and mezuzah, and we don't find that Rabbi Yaakov Yitzchak Ruderman, the Baltimore Rosh Yeshiva, gives an answer to this question. The Gemara in Zvachim Daf Kuf says, even though a kohen is normally commanded to become tamei in order to go to a family, close relative's levaya, he's not allowed to do that on the afternoon of Erev Pesach. Why? The Korban Pesach needs a person to be tar, so the morning of Erev Pesach, he would be allowed to go to levaya. If it's still before Chatzos, because the time for Korban Pesach didn't happen yet. Once the time of Korban Pesach, once Chatzos comes, it's also to go to Levaya and make yourself tamei. You have to bring your Korban Pesach. So we see from this Gemara, says Rabbi Rodeman, a person on Erev Pesach afternoon has no right to do anything that will prevent him from bringing Korban Pesach. It's a mitzvah that you're obligated to do. The only reason why the Gemara in Shabbos was able to have this suggestion for tzitzis and mezuzah, because there's no pre-existing obligations. Every second that a person wears a beged without tzitzis, he has the option to either attach tzitzis or take off the beged. So he's allowed to. So therefore you could take the ownership out between Shabbos and tzitzis. But Korban Pesach, once the Zman came on Chatzos and Yudal Nissen, you're in Yerushalayim Erev Pesach, you can no longer avoid, you can't renounce your property. So he answers the question on Tosfos, and you can do it on Shabbos.